Thank you so much.
Stand on existing protocol. On behalf of the entire members of the House Committee on Defense, I hereby express our delight in undertaking this oversight visit to your ministry, which is a core ministry under the jurisdiction of our committee. We hope that this oversight will yield the desired goal of an overall improvement in service delivery, particularly in the security sector to Nigerians. Honorable Minister, oversight is a responsibility conferred on the National Assembly as exclusively provided for in sections 88 and 89 of the 1999 Constitution and in the standing rules and orders of the House. It is designated to promote good governance, accountability, transparency through mutual beneficial deliberations between us and you. This is one duty we all owe Nigerians, and we look forward to your cooperation in this regard. This oversight exercise comes at a very challenging time in the life of our country. The myriad of security challenges plaguing the country has heightened the despair, pain, and hardship experienced by our people. These numerous security challenges include, but are not limited to, Boko Haram insurgency, banditry and kidnapping, internal uprisings, herdsmen attacks, armed robberies, assassinations, oil bunkering, cult activities, and ritual killings. These challenges make our military one of the busiest in the world, with 13 operations and 4 military exercises conducted in the last 15 years across the country. This is apparently a handful for the military to bear. Despite all this, Nigerians have continued to be disillusioned by the appalling security situation in the country. Recent cases of mass abduction of students from schools in Niger, Zamfara, and Kaduna states has further worsened the internal security situation in the country and the trust Nigerians have for the military. We must collectively find a solution to the numerous cases of insecurity in our country. Honorable Minister, this committee realizes that coping with these security challenges are no doubt an enormous task that requires a contemporary, well-equipped, well-trained, and adequately motivated armed forces. This is why we are here. It is therefore my expectation that this interaction will help to address concerns raised by Nigerians, whom we represent, and the role that the National Assembly can play to support you in addressing them. Principal among this is the issue of funding. The envelope system currently in use for funding the defense sector is definitely inappropriate, as it does not fully address the unique needs of the military. Consequently, the House of Representatives has commenced legislative processes for the considerations of several bills in a bid to strengthen and revolutionize the defense sector. These bills are currently at various stages of consideration in the House. One of such legislations is the Nigerian Armed Forces Support Fund, which is seeking to create a 5-year funding plan for the Nigerian Armed Forces outside the budgetary allocation. It aims at revamping the armed forces through provision of regular training for its personnel and provision of modern equipment for effective defense of Nigeria's territory and fight against insurgency and other related matters. This bill has scaled through the second reading, and a public hearing is being planned in the coming weeks. The importance of this bill is buttressed by the caliber of its sponsors. My good self, the Chairman, House Committees on National Security and Intelligence, Army, Air Force, Navy, Police Affairs, as well as the Deputy Chairman, Committee on Defense. Furthermore, the committee recognizes the importance of space and cyberspace to modern warfare and the need for Nigeria to adopt a holistic but coordinated approach to space and cyberspace military technology. This is definitely a critical and emerging necessity for military operations globally, and Nigeria cannot be left behind. Consequently, the committee has concluded plans to commence legislative actions on the creation of a Nigerian Defense Space Force in line with global best practices. This will help to harness the value of military space and cyberspace-based capabilities, as well as integrate such into theater operations across the country. The new independent Space Force will strengthen the function of the existing Defense Space Agency and be responsible for acquiring military space systems, developing a military space power policy, and supporting all operations with space and cyberspace intelligence in the war against insecurity in Nigeria. Consequently, we have commenced legislative processes to enact this law to enable this. It is our belief that this will consolidate all space missions from across the armed forces into one central operational domain. One of the recurrent issues during the confirmation exercise of the service chiefs is their willingness to support patronage of local manufacturers of military equipment. This is in line with Presidential Order 8, which states that all ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government of Nigeria shall grant preference to local manufacturers of goods and services providers in their procurement of goods and services. By this order, the Ministry of Defense is required to give preference to local manufacturers, contractors, and service providers in its procurement process. As the supervising Minister of Defense sector, we expect that preference will be accorded to local producers of military equipment in your procurement process. The positive effect of this for the fight against insurgency and the economy is obviously enormous. Henceforth, therefore, this committee will demand to see the level of your ministry's compliance with this presidential order. The House Committee on Defense is keenly concerned about troop welfare. We believe that those who have chosen to protect our lives and property, as well as the territorial integrity of Nigeria, deserve to be adequately compensated. A well-motivated soldier is a function of adequate welfare, among other things. This committee will do everything within its powers to ensure that soldiers' welfare and entitlement are given to them and at the right time. We believe that it will serve as a motivating factor for them in the ongoing fight against insecurity in Nigeria. The same policy should apply to pensioners too. Kindly know that your periodic reports to the committee should provide details of payment of welfare packages to soldiers. Honorable Minister, with the legislature's plan to support the armed forces through the provision of additional resources, it is only appropriate for Nigerians to expect better outcomes and improved relationship with our brave men and women of the military. This is why the House Committee on Defense is in full support of the presidential directive to end the Boko Haram insurgency immediately. Nigerians will continue to demand a high level of social accountability and trust from the military. Consequently, this committee will demand higher accountability for every taxpayer's money appropriated for the armed forces of Nigeria and the ministry in general. Similarly, I believe that developing a reputation for honest and trustworthy information to the media and all Nigerians will also help the ministry to build better public support. It is our hope that more focus will be given to the quality of information shared with the media so that the Ministry of Defense will be better reported and represented in the media. Let me conclude, Honorable Minister, by reiterating the 9th House of Representatives' continued resolve to ensure a secure, peaceful, and prosperous country for all Nigerians. This is clearly stated in the House updated legislative agenda, as well as its several pronouncements on the country's security challenges. The Committee on Defense is fully committed to this cause and will do everything feasible to ensure Nigerians live peacefully. Thank you.
Welcome you all, especially the esteemed chairman and other honorable members of the House Committee to this ministry. I wish to sincerely express my profound appreciation to the committee for the support to the Ministry of Defense at all times. I am particularly delighted to acknowledge the fact that this honorable committee is always willing and ready to prioritize matters that concern the Ministry of Defense. I cherish gesture which we will all never forget and take it for granted. The success that the Nigerian Armed Forces have achieved so far in combating insurgency in the Northeast and other security challenges across the country would not have been possible without your robust cooperation and unflinching legislative support to the nation's defense sector. Today's oversight visit is no doubt a testimony to your commitment to worthy legislatures and to your faith in Nigeria's development agenda. Certainly, the visit offers another opportunity for better appreciation of our distinct and complementary roles towards safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our dear country. With your unalloyed support and our determination to succeed, I am confident that you will consolidate on our current modest fears and timely and ultimately achieve sustainable tranquility required for unhindered socio-economic development and other activities for our national prosperity. I am to also acknowledge that working as a team with the honorable members has impacted positive service delivery. It is glaring that mutual understanding and cooperation between the executive and the legislature, particularly in recent past, have brought about smooth and effective administration on the nation's defense sector. Indeed, our collective experience has reflected in the success so far recorded. Let me just remind the distinguished guests of our mandate. The military is mandated, or the ministry is mandated to protect Nigerian sovereignty and the citizens in the country, as well as safeguard the country's values, cultures, interests, and resources, and the territorial integrity of the country. It is also to contribute to national peace and security through effective management of bilateral and multilateral agreements of the defense matter, as well as provision of welfare facilities for serving and non-serving members of the armed forces. Nigeria has been contending with diverse internal security challenges, even as it grapples with the unconventional warfare waged against her by the terrorist group called Boko Haram and banditry in some states of the Federation, like Niger, Katsina, Kaduna, Sokoto, and Zamfara. These challenges have tasked the capabilities of the armed forces with attendant losses. These attendant losses is on our gallant officers, men and women in the line of duty. Honorable members, I am glad to report that the Ministry, in conjunction with the Armed Forces of Nigeria, have continued to diligently carry out its mandate as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have witnessed a progressive return of peace to the Northeast region ravaged by insurgency. Civil institutions that were destroyed have been rebuilt, with the internally displaced person returning home. The armed forces have continued to contend with the challenges of ensuring the insurgents' intermittent incursions are constantly repelled. the Armed Forces of Nigeria is confronting the emerging threat of banditry in other parts of the country, especially in the North Central and the Northwest. The Armed Forces has moved to other areas of the country, about 33 states, were in present required to be complemented the efforts of the security agencies. In carrying out our mandates, the Ministry of Defense maintains a large number of staff, some at the headquarters in Abuja, and a sizable percentage outstations called Civilian Personnel Unit, that is the CPU, and is attached to military formation nationwide. This peculiarity has not been without the challenges, particularly in terms of coordination, logistics, and pressure on resources, which are all captured in this presentation. Now to the main concern. Esteemed honorable members who may wish to be informed that in 2020, 100% capital fund was released to the ministry, but procurement processes, coupled with the emergence of COVID-19 and subsequent lockdown in March 2020, the ministry has not been able to execute more of its capital projects, which was the reason for low performance in the capital budget. The programs were, however, executed in line with the administration policy thrust on security, anti-corruption, and efficient utilization of force and resources. Execution of the outlined projects and policies of the ministry have resulted in enhanced capabilities and capacity of the armed forces, leading to the success recorded in the fight against Boko Haram, insurgents, and banditry. It is therefore my pleasure to present the ministry's scorecards as follows. This, I think, we can discuss when the press is out. Okay. So let me take this opportunity once more, apologize for coming a bit late, and I wish us a happy deliberation in the course of our discussion here. Thank you very much, honorable members. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Round of applause, please. As I presented it to keep the memory alive, let's have a snapshot. Because of COVID, let's take this picture in segments. Behind them, let's file in. Okay, let's go out to the corridor.
You know, we have new service chiefs, and they were appointed at a time when we also had to conduct an oversight. So we spoke to them about troop welfare, about inventory, both software and hardware, on how to ensure that they also patronize our local manufacturers of hardware and software in accordance with Executive Order 8. Welfare of the troops was uppermost in our minds. Prompt payments of the frontline soldiers. So also how to improve on the procurement process to make it more transparent, to make it more competitive, so that Nigerians will see that things are done in the right way. We also spoke about engaging more in government-to-government procurements. So that's what we came to discuss here today.
So far, so good. From what we have from both Chief of Staff and Defense, are you people satisfied with what you found out?
Yes, we saw a lot of patriotism, a lot of commitment, a lot of diligence to the cause of ending insurgency in Nigeria. So far, so good. Thank you.